Persona 5, back when days when it used to be so good, you know what I'm saying, games were honestly amazing, you know, but this is the first time honestly in a game where like I've seen so much growth and so much shit going on in a whole one-ass game as a kid. It honestly genuinely felt like an actual game from the start up that I'd never seen in my life before. It's so rare to have games like these that honestly genuinely actually want you to literally grow on your own. It's so messed up like that, you know what I'm saying? And I understand that we gotta move on sometimes, but at the same time I did appreciate the littlest details in 2020 as well. But damn man, this shit's such a fucking good ass track, bro. It's such a good ass game. So hey bro, a good soundtrack and a good game, what can you get out of it honestly? Well, until one thing happened, unfortunately.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the is that? What is that, Private Pile?
Yeah, this game was, it was pretty bad. So they basically looked at Persona 5 Royal and saw how successful it was, so they were like, wow! I can't believe we made 1.8 million copies worldwide since release. You see this? That's what happens when you put effort into a video game. You know, the success of the game isn't totally gonna ruin our projects later on in the future. Nah, after all that, we have so much money that we can just make another one already. Forget taking your time, am I right? Oh, and FYI, Persona 1 2 doesn't exist anymore, so forget them. Yo, I have an idea. So we should make a sequel to Persona 5, and the story is going to be literally the same thing as Persona 5, but filler, and add button mashing combat. People sure do love that nowadays. But sir, wouldn't that ruin the whole point of a sequel? Dude, shut up. Free money. Who cares? Damn. Alright. I'm gonna calm down now. I'm gonna chill. I'm gonna stop doing that. Anyways, my biggest problem with Strikers is the fact that it's supposedly a canon sequel, but in reality it's just really filler. Especially on the story, characters, and the brain dead combat, I swear, bro. I guess for the combat it gets fun in the beginning, but then later on when you're honestly just like at like the half part of the game or whatever, it gets really repetitive and boring because they don't change anything after that at all. I'm not saying hack and slash games are really like bad to me at all. It's just the fact that pretty much like type of like, you know, like turn-based RPGs, they actually weren't even that bad, especially Persona 5 Royal, which all honesty I thought that it was one of the easier RPGs I ever played. But at least the combat was at least fun. That's what I'll admit. I know it's like a Dynasty Warriors type of game, but then honestly for like Persona, honestly, it doesn't really work for me at all. It's not bad, but it's just not really good either. Like hack and slash games like DMC and like Bayonetta just like work so well. I don't even care. Actually, I'm waiting for a little bit for Bayonetta 3 though, but I see what was happening for those type of later news that I'll probably talk about later, unfortunately. And the two new characters, Sophia and Zenkichi, well, I thought Zenkichi was pretty alright. It's nothing different than we've seen ever before in the Persona series. And Sophia is literally just like Teddy or like Morgana, like whatever, you know what I mean? Like just nothing different at all, so I didn't really care that much for her anyway. And even more, the fact they gotta make every single villain so sympathetic with these boring, bland stories that pretty much honestly compare nothing to Persona 5 Royal literally had before. And I even thought the end of the game, which I won't spoil, which honestly was the best arc. So, wow, how did they honestly mess that up? I'm mad. I'm actually mad at that one. I don't even care. You know, after I finished Persona 5 Royal, I wanted to see what other ideas Atlus was creating. And boy was I surprised and amazing experiences I would ever have for one of the most unforgettable moments I've seen in media.
Yo! Ah!
Shin Megami Tensei 3 was the first SMT game I played, and I was just so surprised of how a small budget game has so much world building, atmosphere, and the beautiful shots they made to the cutscenes is fantastic. I also love how the game's story was minimalistic on purpose so they can make every single scene impactful as possible. I find it incredible that's basically how I felt with Hollow Knight. You don't need an exposition dumping story-orientable films shoving the story down your throat. Sorry for calling them out, sorry, not sorry. But I'm sorry. This is one thing that I just loved about Shin Megami Tensei 3 that I just have to praise for this. I don't care what anybody says when I say about this one.
Oh my god!
The difficulty. SMT3 does not hold back. This game will kick your ass if you don't learn the mechanics of the way the game has taught you already with this boss fight, and I love that. It forces you to actually think about which move is important and what is not. Using buffs and fusing is important to the Shin Megami Tensei series, so the minute when you finally defeat a difficult hard boss for 2 hours, it's like a genuine victory, because you couldn't just bypass it or literally press X to win in most certain games nowadays. I'm sorry, not sorry. Because SMT actually requires one thing: strategy, or at least trying. That to me is what makes turn-based RPGs stand out from the crowd. As I was growing older with high school almost being over, I tried a lot more games from Atlus, and some were great, some might even beat SMT3 on sadly, and some were decent. I'll try to do analysis for one of them if I can. They tell deep, mature stories that it was to the point that makes you stare at your own screen and showcase that video games can make an impact on your life. I remember back in freshman year, I met a friend named Elijah, and I still talk to him to this day. I remember he said, "Why don't you get on the game nowadays?" For me, the reason was I just didn't find enjoyment in video games anymore back in the day, because I just thought it was pointless just having instant dopamine for achieving something that never mattered to you at whatsoever. But then after I tried Persona 5 from 2019, my enjoyment was there, and it was different from the other games I was playing. Sure, the game has flaws, but it was still alright though, and it was one of the most important games I played. Even Hollow Knight though, I loved that as a freshman year as well. I watched Kasura Hashino's interview after finishing Persona 5, and I liked how he doesn't try to appeal to everybody, and he's trying to be different from the crowd, and doesn't even try to honestly appeal to the normal audience or the modern society, and I actually love that about him.
いうようなその工程を計画しなきゃいけないのか、その行き先はどういう行き先であればいいのか、何泊であればいいのかとか、そういったものをそのなんていうか設定としてつけていくっていうような工程になります。なんで物語を作る時もその物語をクリアした後にユーザーの皆さんが楽しかっただけで終わらずに、楽しい上に何か明日につなげられそうな何か、知恵って言ったら大げさなんだけど、何かプラスアルファで持ち帰ってもらうものができれば、娯楽としてはすごくゴージャスなものになるのかなと思って、そこにこだわろうとしてますね。
After he left, I know a lot of people honestly hated him because the modern persona of how bad it is, but the only thing I liked about was the vision of it. And sure, like 3, 4, and 5 are honestly not bad. I actually like the fourth one as well,
but at the same time, it's just at least he tried. I look back at 1 and 2, I liked how they were a little bit more better, but I think the most downfall of Atlus of all of them is just how much greedy Atlus has become. And of the fact that I look back on Instagram and I see just Persona 5, this and that, merchandise, this and that, instead of honestly just making new games. It's like, it's at this point, it's like a reputation at this point, rather than honestly them making like innovation or just anything at all. Because when I honestly finish like these type of games, or like even SMT, I'm just like, great, like I just want more, like what now? And now like I even looked at sucks of what, Soul Hackers 2? Oh no. See, now that's a topic for another day. So I'm gonna close the video for this one, and I'm glad y'all supported me for this one, so take it easy.